Greetings everybody, I trust that you guys are good today. We're now having a look at Nasdaq 100 and we are on the daily chart, as you guys can see, right? And the last time we spoke about this particular chart, guys, we had mentioned that we had actually this overextended structure over here. If I can just draw it, let me just draw it over here. We had this overextended structure which had a neckline at that level, more or less. To add to that, guys, we had also had this inverted head and shoulders pattern which similarly had a neckline at the point, and I had mentioned that buying or selling in regards to this area would be risky, and that is because we have two opposing structures. Number one, we have this M structure which is over here, and number two, we have this inverted head and shoulders pattern, right? And they both have necklines in more or less the same area. Price currently is at this zone, and as I said, guys, it's very risky in regards to buying or selling at this point, right? Anyway, from here, what I'm gonna do actually is head down to the H4 chart. However, before I do so, let me just also point out that as much as we had this overextended M structure over here which has a neckline at that point, can you guys also see that we had a very strong area of resistance at that level where we've had multiple rejections? And what may potentially also happen is that price may get a third touch there. In fact, there is a third touch, and we might potentially see the market move further down, right? To add to that, if I can just zoom in a bit, as much as I'm saying that, guys, remember that we also have a smaller W structure over here which similarly has a neckline more or less at that point. And as much as I'm saying that we've had triple rejections at that level and that the anticipation is for the market to push further down, the market may only push up until this level over here, and that is because it is the neckline of this W structure, and we might then potentially see the market push further up, right? Yeah, anyway, let's proceed, guys. So what else do we see, guys, in regards to the daily chart before I move down to the H4 chart? In fact, before we proceed, just also keep in the back of your mind that as much as I said, we have this inverted head and shoulders pattern here which has a neckline at that point, we also have a W structure at this point which has a neckline at that level, more or less. Just keep that in the back of your mind, guys, as we proceed. In fact, let me just mark that neckline quickly. I'll do it in this manner, and yeah, then from here what we can do is head down to the H4 chart. And remember again, guys, that tomorrow, or rather in a few hours time, we have NFP, and it is gonna be quite an interesting one, and I believe that it is, or rather it'll be the last NFP for the year, and it'll be interesting in regards to whether or not it'll be positive or negative for Nasdaq 100, right? So anyway, guys, here we are again on the H4 chart, and just to recap, guys, remember on the daily chart we spoke about how we have let me just do this quickly. We spoke about how we have just bear with me. We spoke about how we have this pattern at this point or that level which has a neckline at that level, right? And we spoke about also how we have this smaller W structure which has a neckline at that point. To add to that, we also mentioned that price currently is having a third rejection at that level, and the anticipation is for the market to push further down, and at least to this level. Why do I say this level? That is because it is the neckline of this smaller W structure, as you guys can see, and chances are, should price reach this level, we will most likely look for potential buying opportunities. And if we do indeed find a buying opportunity at this point or an entry, our first take profit should be this level over here. And why do I say this level? That is because, guys, this level over here is a very strong level of resistance, as it is the neckline of that overextended M structure that I spoke about on the daily chart. So just keep that in the back of your mind, guys. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Anyway, let's proceed. So what else do we see, guys? Anyway, just to zoom out a bit, remember, guys, on the daily chart I spoke about how we had multiple rejections at that level, and I believe that currently, if I can just zoom in, the reason why we haven't really seen price move further down, in my humble opinion, is because if you actually have a look at this candlestick over here, which is a bullish candlestick with a relatively small body and a long upper wick, it tells us that there's a lot of money sitting at that point, and it's actually liquidity that needs to be triggered by the market. So that's probably one of the reasons rather why we haven't really seen price move further down, right? At least to test this particular level here, right? Anyway, what I'm saying in other words is that the market still needs to head up, in my humble opinion, to at least grab the liquidity that's sitting at this level over here, right? Nonetheless, having said that, guys, in as far as buying or selling opportunities go at this point in time, I really don't see any. What I would do on my side is to wait for the market to actually fill this candle over here, and then from there we can see what it does next and then act accordingly. But for now, I don't see any buying or selling opportunities. But just to reiterate, remember that price is at a very strong level of resistance, as we've had multiple rejections at that level, and it is quite possible that we might see the market push further down, right? Another thing that is also very much interesting that I want to show you before we close is that as much as we have this W structure over here, which has a neckline at that level more or less, can you guys also see that we seem to have an opposing M structure, right? With the side being the first leg of that M structure and this side being the second leg, right? And or rather, because it started over here, we might potentially see price move further down to close at around this level over here, right? So that is my analysis, guys, in regards to Nasdaq 100 or UStech. Just remember that we have NFP in the next couple of hours, and just remember to use good money management and just make sure that you are safe. Anyway, peace out.